Hello students, this is Anjana from Computer Science Department. In this class, we are going to discuss about symmetric key distribution using symmetric encryption distribution of the public keys. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the symmetric key distribution using symmetric encryption. In this class, we are going to discuss about symmetric key distribution using asymmetric encryption and about the distribution of how we are going to distribute the public keys. Now let's get into our topic. So, what is a symmetric key distribution using a asymmetric encryption? Suppose once a public key, whatever the public key that we have generated, we have already know about the public and private keys. The public key is the key which is visible to all the users. So, the public key, once public key have been distributed or have become accessible or secure communication, that it was dropping, tampering, or both is possible. So sometimes at the both at the sender side or at the receiver side, without performing any type of encryption, if they have generated some key, we can say that one as a public key. So once that key has generated, it will be accessible, or whether it is providing the it is providing the secure communication or not, it has to recheck once. Why? Because the public key encryption provides that the distribution of secret key by using the conventional encryption. So here in this type of encryption techniques, whatever the key that we have generated, when it is set to the public, it should be accessible by at both sides, that is at the sender side and at the receiver side. Why? Because even if in the sender side or at the receiver side, if it is set to the public, that is we are giving the access to the both at the sender side and the receiver side, whatever the data that will be sent by the sender, that is to be visible to the receiver, and whatever the data that is received by the whatever the data that is sent by the receiver to the sender, also it will be accessible. Why? Because at the both side they are using the public key. So here the public key encryption provides for the distribution of secret keys that is to be used for the conventional encryption. So if you have observed the simple secret key distribution, that how we are going to distribute that simple secret key. Suppose A is the sender. Suppose if you have taken the example like A is the sender and B is the receiver. So A generates a public or private key. Suppose PUA comma PRA, that is the generated key, and transmits the messages to the B. We have already in the beginning itself we have said that let us assume B as a receiver. Suppose if we are transmitting that message to B, that B also consisting PUA means that is the message that is related to the sender A. So if it is having some it is consisting of PUA and an identifier of A comma IDA. So B generates B also, the secret key is also generated by B also. So B is also generating the secret key KS and transmits it to the A, and it is encrypted with A's public key. So whenever we are going to compute that result D, then we can say it as it is to recover that secret key, because if you want to decrypt E, we have all the term E is for encryption and D is for decryption. So this is the encrypted key. This is the encrypted key. With that message, we are going to provide this encrypted key here. For this entire message, we are going to perform decryption. D means decryption here. So for the entire PRA is the message that is related to the sender A. So E is the encryption that we are going to provide for the that particular key that is generated at the sender side. So to recover that secret key, only because only A can decrypt the message, and only A and B will know that it can identify the KS. So A discards PUA and PRA, and B discards PUA. So if you have observed this one, uh, here here the generation of the public key and private key, and after transmitting that particular message to the B and consisting of PUA and an identifier of A, we can say it as a IDA. IDA is considered as an identifier for A. So here the B is going to generate a secret key KS, and definitely it is going to transmit it to the A, and it is and that particular message is encrypted with A's public key. So here the A is going to compute the decryption for that message to recover the secret key, only because only A only can encrypt the uh, A only can decrypt the message, then only A and B will know the identity of the key K. Okay, then A can discard PUA and PRA, and B also discards PUA. So if you have observed this image, so A is the ID is the identifier of A. So this is a message that we are going to sending here, and for that message and the key that is generated for that message, we are going to perform the encryption. Okay, here this is the process. Here if the third party want to access that particular third party can intercept that message, and then either he can replay the intercepted message, or he can substitute the another message, such that the this attack is known as the man in the middle attack. If some third party person want to attack and he want to retrieve that particular data, we can say this attack as a man in the middle attack. So see here, if we can consider A as a sender and B as a receiver, here the data is sending. After sending the data, it is going to provide the encryption for that particular data. So at this in this particular type of process, the third party person can intercept the messages and either replay the intercepted message, or it can substitute the another message. Such an attack is known as a, we can say such type of attack is known as a man in the middle attack. Okay, we can say such type of attack is known as a man in the middle attack. So if you have observed that how we are going to distribute this particular key, the person who is going to send that message, we can say that person as a initiator, and here the person who is going to receive that particular message, we can say that person as a responder. So here at the beginning itself, we are going to perform the encryption for that particular message. This is the message that is going to send that B, and IDA is the identifier for the A, for the initiator A. So after sending that, here again that particular message is again responded by the responder B, such that it can be responded for to the sender and receiver. Again it will be encrypted. And here if you have observed this particular message like this, so if this is the encrypted message B of N2. Here this particular person is the initiator and he is the responder. So we can say we are going to perform encryption here, and he is the responder. So just like this, the entire process is going on. So he see if what are the process that is applied between the sender and receiver is here at the both the sender and receiver side. The data that is we are going to apply here is uh, suppose here it is E of PUB and N1 of ID of A. So if you have observed this particular data, here it can be identified as the E of PUB comma N2. So this is the sent from the initiator, and the responder also receives that message. Before going to receive that message, he has to decrypt that particular message. So this is a process entirely, we can say that this can be repeated again and again. Just like this, the process will be repeated until the message is completely or full-fledgedly it will be taken from the sender. So if we have taken this example, here at the both at the sender and the receiver side, he or she can, so the person who is sending that one, so that particular person can uh, do this type of process for mainly because to provide the security for that particular data. So if you have observed this one here, Here A uses the B public key to encrypt the message. Why? Because uh, B containing an identifier of A and which is used to identify this transaction uniquely. So B sends a message to A encrypted with PUA and containing A's nonce as well as a new nonce generated by B, because only B could have decrypted the message. So whenever the decrypted message has done, the presence of, we can see that as N1 of that message, and it is going to give the assurance that it is corresponding to that particular message B. So whatever the data that we are taking is not a, that is not an essential thing, but whenever it is going to return that particular product, it is a correspondent to the A. So it is from this we can get an assurance that only B can read that encrypted data. So the encryption with private key ensures that only A could have sent it. So if the B computes the DPUF, then definitely D means we have already said that it is going to decrypt that data. So then definitely it could have the chance to it can have the chance to send it. So B is going to compute that data to recover that secret key. But A is going to, here that A is going to use that secret key. But in particular situations, this is not a, if somebody says that this is not a correct if the sender has an chance to sometimes the sender has thought that if it is not the time to send that message, the third party person may have the chance, we have already seen in the previous slide, if third party person is entering into that middle and he is going to theft that data, we can say that attack as a man in the middle attack. So if sender is having some the doubt that at this particular time we should not send the data, then he has to provide much more security for his data. So at the time what he has to do, he has to do more than one time, multiple times he has to perform the encryption on his data, such that his data should be secured. But even though if you are performing so many types of encryption, multiple times of encryption, definitely you'll have the chance to uh, definitely it may have the chance to get that our data should be theft. So whenever we are going to send the data, we should be very careful while you are sending the data. That is a basic thing that you have to keep it on mind. And next thing, how we are going to distribute that public keys. See, uh, whenever whenever you are going to distribute that public key, virtually all these proposals can be grouped into the following general schemes. See, uh, whenever you are going to announce it publicly, we can set as a public announcement. Whenever the data is kept in the directory which is available to all the users in that particular system, and we can give the access of public, then it will be publicly available directory. And next one, the authority we are going to grant, we can say it as a public key authority. So if a person wants to check the data, uh, he can get the access, then we can say that as a public key certificates. Okay, see, by providing that such particular certificate, he can give the access to the data such that the particular person can take that data, or he can use the data, and or he can have the chance to modify that data also. So these are the several techniques that have been proposed for the distribution of the public keys. So virtually all these proposals, what are the proposals that we have taken? All these proposals can be grouped into the following general schemes. So these are the general schemes that we have announced. First one is public announcement. Next one is publicly available directory. Next one is public key authority, and next one is public key certificates. So if you have observed this one, how we are going to announce this public keys, this is the easiest method to announce. Why? Because the public key, if you are going to broadcast some other technique, anybody, whatever the key that we are going to use here, we are going to use the RSA algorithms for that to provide the encryption. And the keys that we are sending and receiving, it is having the contents, mainly the users who is going to use this data will provide the good privacy which are beneficial. And this approach looks good, but there is no control on the public keys. So whenever we set that particular data to public, definitely it should not having any control to access that particular kind of data. Why? Because if you are having if you are setting that one to public, then automatically the third person, the person who is going, even if he is a trusted person, he we that but definitely it is having the chance that particular person can modify the data. Yes or no? Whenever you are going the giving access publicly, then that person can definitely have the chance to change the data, read the data, or modify the data. So mainly users, whatever they are going to give the good privacy or beneficial, this approach looks like good, but no control on the public keys. But everybody announcing, who are announcing their keys means where these are stored and how can be the other end people can know. So like this, the several problems, so many several problems may occur. Then there is a lot of scope for the intruders to open the authenticated message. So the persons who are going to introduce that particular data, we can say that person as a intruders. So that persons can have the chance that there is a lot of scope for the intruders. Then he can have the authenticated message for that. So uh, he can have the chance that this following diagram shows the publicly announcement of the keys of the nature should be uncontrolled. So this is a key for the user 5, user 6, just like that, so many keys. This is a source. From this source, that the key is generated for the different kinds of users, that is uncontrolled, which is uncontrolled. And it is going to provide the confidentiality for that keys. So it is having the scope that it can provide the announcement for that. But this diagram shows that this is a public announcement of keys. This is, we are going to announce the key publicly, such that they can see. If you have observed, suppose whenever you are going to install some particular kind of software, it is going to ask some key to enter install, yes or no? But even in the website itself, they are going to provide the key for you to install that particular software. If you have observed that example, there that key is announced publicly, that they have given the access to so many users that they can easily access that particular software. Yes or no? Just like that, if any key is announced publicly, all the users that have who has seen that key, definitely they have the chance to use that particular key. So they are having the chance to use that key, and they may modify the contents of the data. So many changes may occur. Okay. So what is a public key directory? So in this technique, the directory is maintained for the public keys. Okay. Here for to store the public keys, some directory is maintained here, and some trusted entity or the organizer maintains the directory and distribute the public keys on the request. So the directory contains the entry for the each participant. What are the participants, that the persons are going to participate? For each and every participant, they are going to store the name of the public key of the participant, and the participant registers the public key with the authority of the public key directory. At any time, whatever the time, at any time the participant can replace the existing directory. So the directory can also can have the access electronically by using the participant. So this is a public key directory. Here these are the participants we are having. Please count here how many participants. Just we are having 6 participants. Just this is an example to show you how we are going to store this public key directory. So here this is the person, he is going to access this particular directory, and whatever the key he wants, he is going to take that key. Here also, here this is the person B, here he is going to access that particular directory, and he is going to take that key whatever he wants, and he is going to take that directory. And next one, and here this is the person C, here this person also going to access this public key directory. This person also going to take that particular key. Just like that, the persons the parties D, E and F also going to take that particular, going to take the access for that particular directory. Here in this technique, basically the directory, whatever the directory that you are taking, the directory of the public keys, so many for the so many public keys, the directory is maintained here. So some trusted entity, whatever the trusted entity or the organization, it is going to maintained by the directory, and it is distributed and it distributes the public keys on the request. So the directory consists an entry for the each participant, storing the name and public key for the participant. So a participant registers its public key with the authority of the public key directory at any time. So a participant can replace its existing directory, and the directory can also be accessed electronically by the participants. So this is how we are going to check this public key directory. So if you have gone for the next slide, see this is the public key authority. See sender and receiver. Here in this public key authority, the key is going to be maintained. Here the sender is requesting for the public key, and this public key is going to generate the key for the key of B for the sender A. Why? Because if this sender A knows the key of B, then only he can send the data to this B. So it is generated to the B, and next the encrypted data from the form of nonce should be sent to the data, and next to receive this data, he has to request the key for the key from the public key authority, and this the public key for the A is issued to B from the public key authority. Okay, the whatever the data that is encrypted, again it will be resent to the sender. So after sending that to the sender is giving confirmation that it has received that particular data. Okay. So if you have observed this type of public key certificates, this is a more secured way. If you have applied these certificates like this is the more secured way of an exchanging the public keys. It is a technical issue that the certificates is issued by the certificate authority, and each and every participant obtains the certificates contains the public key, and an identifier of the owner, who is the owner for this identifier, is signed by the certificate authority, and the participant who is going to take the certificate from the authority, he can supply this public key to the authority in a secured way, and it publishes certificate that is used by the users, and any other user can need to send the public key obtains, and definitely it is verified by the validity from the signature of the trusted authority, and any participant can verify the certificates created by the public key certificate authority. So this is the public key that is generated by the public key for the user A, and next uh, and this is the certificate authority for the public key, and next this is the B certificate, and it is going to send the data for the A. So these are the public key certificate that is going to generated by the authority. In this class up to here we have discussed. In the next class we can go for the next topic.